Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another very special web edition of In the Trenches. If you caught our stream on Tuesday with Say and Uber Mendez, you already know what this is all about. We are days away from launching the all new FOMO web app. And we're here today with yet another trader that really needs no introduction, Andy 8052, to learn all about it. And you're going to want to stick around until the end. We're giving away web app access to a few lucky viewers today. More on that in just a bit. Let's jump right into it here with Andy. Andy, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. It's a beautiful, like 70-degree day in New York City. The sun is shining, and I'm in my closet trading shitcoins and talking to you.
Nice. Sounds like you're living the dream. I'm going to be back up there in a couple of days, so maybe we'll run into each other again.
Nice.
Yeah. So all right, you've been using the web app every day since the team started testing it. You've obviously been a big contributor to the FOMO, the idea of FOMO, and everything that we've done as we've been building. I'm curious, take me back to the first time you opened up the web app. What was your expectation going into it, and did it meet your expectation or exceed your expectation? Was there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, I will say like I must have been one of the first non-team members to use it because I basically have been begging them to make a web app since the like first day that I used FOMO. Essentially, I don't really do crypto on my phone at all.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
and so like I mean, since I've started using this, I like basically don't use the mobile app anymore
Oh,
unless
wow.
I'm out of the house.
Okay.
Um, and so this has been like the only way that I've traded mostly. I've also somewhat slowed down on that front because I've just been too busy um, for the last probably like at least a month. Um, but yeah, and so when I first started using it, it was like pretty bare bones. And then they
It
warned me.
was.
They were like, this isn't really going to do that much for you.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, I've never really been someone to like trade with a super complicated setup. Um, I kind of just, you asked me earlier, like, oh, can we talk about how you use the app? And I was like, yeah, it might be kind of boring though. Like, I buy stuff.
Yeah. Right.
um, and so I think it's like kind of perfect for me in that sense.
Mm.
It's been cool to see the features expand more. Um, like I think that kind of like left panel that you have open of like the alerts and tokens and stuff has gotten much better over the last month that I've been using it.
Right.
And like the charts and things like that. Uh, I actually now I see that you have multiple panels open in a way that I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. So you
Um,
can have four now.
yeah, I'm like really boomer in that sense. I don't even know how I would. Oh, add panel. I see.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and so I think like I appreciated that it still felt like the mobile app in a way that I really liked. Where a lot of other terminals just like offered a bunch of stuff I wasn't really interested in. Um, and so I think that's been a nice thing for me is it just feels very comfortable and simple, which I think for a lot of people, like keeping it simple is for the best.
Nice. Yeah. You said that when you first saw it, it was obviously super bare bones. And I can echo that sentiment. And, every day it seems like something new, some little thing gets added. Was there any particular feature where you felt like, oh, this is really drastically different from my experience on the web app? Or do you feel like it's just all kind of like if you have a good understanding of how the web app works, it's a really fluid transition into using the web app?
I would say it's pretty fluid. I mean, you kind of just get all of the screens of the mobile app in one place,
Yeah.
which is really nice. I would say earlier on, there wasn't quite as much support for some of like the thesis and like social side
Mm,
as there is now, and so that's been really nice to see. I have consistently been surprised by how much I've enjoyed the social side of the FOMO app. Um, that was like honestly not a huge selling point for me as someone who was excited about the app in the first place.
right.
Uh, I like I kind of do all of my social parts of trading on Telegram in like a couple of group chats, and so I
Sure.
didn't think I was gonna really get a lot from it. But I kind of realized using the more bare bones early on web app that I did like the social stuff, and I liked seeing the theses or updating my own and seeing kind of the alerts and all of that. And so it's been nice to see all of that integrated in a way where you kind of can just get like a faster read of things, I feel like, than on your phone because you can, copy a contract address and be on the page, but also at the same time see alerts, leaderboard, kind of everything. You don't have to scroll or like go through multiple screens.
Have you noticed the magical thing about copying contract addresses yet?
Where it just like will automatically,
Yes.
oh yeah, that like early on it didn't have that, and I was like, oh man, I need this. I'm like so spoiled now at this point. If that doesn't exist, it's like I can't click the extra two buttons.
It it took me like a few times of it automatically presenting itself up here in the search bar for me to like realize what was going on. I was in Telegram or in the FOMO family Discord or whatever it was, grab a CA and go to plug it in and it's already there. It's like, wait, hold on. How what?
Yeah,
I had to reach out to the dev team and be like, is this how it's supposed to work? I love that little magic moment.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite feature?
Um, I actually have used some of the like your positions stuff on the bottom right a good
Okay.
bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I think I didn't really expect to, honestly. I think that those are always kind of the fun features where it's like I didn't think this is something that I would really use, but I just naturally have been of like, I'm on some random coin that someone sends. I'm like, oh, I actually wish I had $500 to throw into this and just like pop over there, sell 10% of something and
Yeah.
ape it into the next thing or something like that. I think that that has been an unexpected feature that I've liked a lot. And I think some of the building around the like thesis stuff and kind of more of the social side, it feels like there's a little bit more depth to it in the mobile app,
Mm.
where you can like see like the pages of people's positions and things that are just able to be a little bit more detail rich than on a phone, and that stuff has been pretty fun too. I've liked that.
Yeah, how do you find yourself using Thesis? I I've always loved the idea of the thesis, and it seems like some people take it quite more seriously than others. You know, some people are just totally shit posting random stuff that's kind of meaningless, and then some people are like really actually putting detailed, messages on there to like help me as somebody who might be interested in buying that particular token get a very quick whatever 10,000-foot view of like, oh, this is why I should actually be interested in this. For me, it's helped me like find traders that I've never heard of before, right?
Hmm.
Because it surfaces people who are maybe a little bit more like are taking it a little bit more seriously, but then it also helps surface like good reasoning for getting into or out of a token. How do you specifically use the thesis?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not necessarily posting the most thoughtful things all the time. But that's like kind of how I use Twitter too. Like I'm not the most high signal person on any of these socials by
Right.
any means. Um, I think I if there's something where I really do feel strongly or think that there's some sort of asymmetry or whatever, like every once in a while, I will try to give a thesis that's actually useful.
Mm.
Um, like I said something like for my like Unk position that I think is kind of funny and but also like serious where it's like I'm really enjoying posting about this token even though I don't actually own that much of it.
Yeah,
And in my experience, that's a good thing. That
totally.
is probably like kind of bullish. Um, I do like you were saying, I think especially for smaller cap stuff or like more unknown stuff, being able to quickly see when one of the top holders like links to stuff on like Twitter or things like that,
Hmm.
as someone who is kind of an unk and I really just like I'm not using super advanced trading stuff, it is pretty useful to get like some more immediate context
Totally.
into a token. Like I think many times the top holders theses on small tokens is like the best and fastest way to get context if you're not like super super deep in the like Twitter algo feed scraping world, which I'm not.
Right.
Uh, and so I think that's probably been my favorite use, other than like people shit posting because it's funny because I also enjoy doing that.
Yeah. So, yeah, you've described kind of the way that you use the web app as pretty straightforward. Do you think that simplicity is actually an edge? Does the web app support maybe like both ends of the spectrum? If you want to be a little bit more sophisticated, you can be. If you want to just continue treating things the way that you do, kind of just throwing darts and having fun and not taking anything too seriously, does it support both ends of that spectrum, I guess?
I think so. I mean, I think that kind of in a different sense, simplicity for I would say for most traders is an edge because it actually will like help you not over trade, over analyze, like spend way too much time on things. Like I think for most people who are trading meme coins, all of the features that like Axiom has are actually not helpful to you. They're
Hmm,
probably actually hurting you. It's like too much information. It's too easy to get kind of lost in the sauce to be trying to copy, you know, some of the like Fortnite kiddos who are doing way too much.
right.
Um, like most people are not cut out to do that and will just chop themselves up, lose a bunch of money. Um, and so I think in that sense, like kind of taking a step back to what are like more consistent ways that you can actually succeed and make money trading on chain. I think that the FOMO app sets you up for that in a way that like that's better than any other kind of like trading terminal or web app or thing like that. Um, and so I think that's where a lot of the edge ends up being because I think to a certain extent I'm not sure that any trading terminal is going to, like, truly have some insane edge that no other trading terminal can have as far as,
Right.
like, execution or something. Maybe some people probably, I shouldn't say maybe, some people have built their own personal tools and things that do give them an edge as far as, you know, sniping tokens or things like that. But for the average person, like, you're definitely not realizing any bit of that edge. Um, and I think that it's much better to focus on the, like, mental sides of trading, and I that's where I think that the especially the FOMO web app, like, is significantly better than other options out there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the conversation on the internet around FOMO launching another quote unquote another terminal. And the team has been pretty I don't want to say aggressive, but we've pushed back very hard against that. This isn't a terminal; it's a web app, and I appreciate your explanation around kind of what makes it not a terminal for you, or at least it sounds like you feel like it's something different from what CT and what the greater participants in the space kind of know of as a terminal up to this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of that too kind of goes along with just, like oh, nice, we get the same water bottle.
Shout
So,
out! It's a great water bottle.
it is, yeah. It holds stickers quite well. If anyone wants some monster stickers sometime, let me know.
Nice,
Yeah, it's my gym water bottle now. It's great.
nice.
Uh, what was I saying? Terminal, whether or not it's terminal, all that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think, like I also think that, having an app like this kind of lends itself better to where, like, meme coin trading and all of that is headed, it feels. Like, I think there was realistically a time 2 years ago where, like, if you were using Axiom or even earlier things, like, maybe you genuinely did have an advantage over other people, but, like, I don't believe that exists now, and especially, like, trying to trade new pairs and things like that.
Right.
Um, and so I think that's where too, like, having a web app like FOMO has, really does it differentiates itself, but then also, I think, like, makes it very accessible to everybody, and like I was saying, I think just sets you up for success, much better than trying to, like, do way too much.
Nice. Is there anything that you still prefer doing on mobile? I know
Uh,
you said that you haven't touched mobile since you've had your hands on the web app.
unless I am out of the house, I do not, use the mobile app.
Yeah.
Um, not really. I think potentially one thing that I don't like about the mobile app yet that I need to actually give the team feedback on, and so I like doing on the web app, I should say, that I need to give the team feedback on is I like on the mobile app that I can do my buys in percentages of my balance um, uh,
Ah,
instead of just numerical and like the insta fill, just because I'm lazy. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, I want to just ape whatever, $1,000 I have left in my account into this token. I don't want to have to type out like $1,095 or something, which is stupid. It's like it's such a dumb little thing. But that's something that I do like. The mobile just feels sometimes a little bit quicker on
Mm,
that kind of front.
okay.
Um, but no, I don't use any I like hate using my phone, honestly. So that's why when I was like, I love this app, but I hate using my phone. I especially for crypto. I don't use my phone for crypto at all. And I know that like I'm kind of in the minority there, um, in a lot of ways for like compared to the younger generation.
Sure.
Um, like when everyone was trading on Telegram bots and stuff, I was like, I don't know how you guys are doing this. Like I am not I'm not interested in this. Um, and so for me, it just is like a much better experience.
Awesome. Right on. Great to hear. Has the web app ever gotten you into or out of a trade that you maybe wouldn't have taken on mobile?
That's a good question. Um, Potentially. I think another thing for me is, I do work and I work a lot, and so I'm not just, like, scouring coins all day, every day.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's something else where, like, trading on the web app can, like, sometimes be a bit nicer than on mobile because I'm just, like, not on my phone. I'm in a call. I'm not gonna, when someone messages me and says, "Hey, you need to buy this," I'm not gonna be in my call and take out my phone and start buying shit coins, but it's kinda
Right.
easy to just, like, do it on my computer.
Right.
Um, so I don't know about a per like, I'd have to think about it more to think if there's, like, a particular trade or something, but just at least for me in my, like, daily flow of how I work and kinda try to balance whatever trading I do and working, um, just having I have a very ultra wide monitor. It's like 50 inches wide, and so I just, like, have the web app open
Yep.
all the time. Even prior to the web app, I had downloaded the FOMO app on my Mac, and I was using that
Mhm.
mostly to trade. That was,
Yeah.
like, kind of a bit of a janky experience, but it worked.
Yep.
Um, because I still preferred that to using my phone. And
Interesting.
so, just having it readily available kind of in my flow of how I go about my day when I'm at my desk and working and trading.
Yeah.
And I try to really like, unless it's something that feels stupid not to do, like I try to really not trade when I'm on my phone because I'm probably out at dinner or,
Yeah.
at a bar with my friends or something, or, trying to go for a walk and chill out. And so it's like I'd like to kind of keep those things separated where I work at my computer and when I'm not on my computer, I'm not working.
Yeah.
And so it adds like a very nice separation there, but it also just makes it easier to kind of stay in my flow.
Yeah, one thing that I've really noticed is obviously I we all love the notifications. My favorite trader bought this much of a token, pops right up on my phone, and I, can immediately go straight to the buy button, basically.
Mhm.
That has at times gotten me in some trouble, right?
Same.
I'm top blasting along with 20 other people that are top blasting, and that just goes against me. And what I found to be nice is like having this list of alerts. I can see all that stuff, but I don't immediately go to the buy button. I immediately go to the chart. And I don't know about you, but I'm like a chart guy. And um, yeah, it's so much simpler for me, or it's like so much more intuitive, and I find myself actually kind of doing a little bit less with the web app, even though I'm with you, I have multiple screens. It's on one of my screens basically at all times. I almost like I feel like more in the zone in the web app than I do with mobile.
Mhm.
Mobile, I almost have a bit more FOMO. Like I
Yeah.
almost feel a little more like, oh shit, I got to buy this thing right now because everybody else is buying it. But with the web app, I'm able to like I get that notification in the same way, but my reaction to that notification is just slightly different. It's like a
Yeah.
5-second difference that actually has ended up like really working out well.
Yeah, well, and I think a big part of that is it's like on your phone, you don't have the space to try to process information and also take action.
Right.
Like you are on the buy screen or you're not on the buy screen.
Yeah.
Whereas, with something like this, you can go to a different tab, click into Twitter, do whatever else you need to do to like, do the 10 seconds of due diligence that could sometimes like make a non-trivial difference in what you buy or don't buy. Um, without feeling like, oh god, then I have to jump back between apps. And I do feel like probably part of that is us being older than the people who probably are like, you guys are idiots. I can do that easily on my phone. Like I'm sure there are people listening to that who
Of
think that
course.
way.
Of course.
Um, but I totally agree. And I do think that in general, like with trading, less is more most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. We've kind of touched on it. But one thing I think people consistently wonder about, they know that we have lots of traders that have been a part of the conversation around building FOMO. I'm curious, like how does feedback actually make it to the product in your experience? You've been close to that process from day one. How does an idea go from someone brought this up to like it gets implemented?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the idea, obviously. There's quick ideas and ideas that take more time.
Sure.
And I think that's something that I've appreciated about the FOMO team as well is, for smaller cosmetic things, they move pretty fast, but for important things, that's like let's make sure this doesn't break and, people lose a bunch of money.
Right.
Um, there's a I mean, I'm fortunate enough where I have a direct line to the FOMO team, and so I very regularly will send them feedback or thoughts or say, "Hey, I've been doing this and it feels kinda weird, I don't like it," or, "I miss this feature." Um, I'd say also, like, we'll consistently set in some of the chats I'm in with him, send multiple screenshots for feedback and just be like, "Hey, which of these do you like more?" You know,
Yeah.
"What do you guys think? We changed this a month ago. How does it feel now? Like, would you go back to the original one?" Things like that. And so I would say, uh, I don't have very much insight into what that process actually looks like on the inside, but from my perspective, it feels like, the team is very receptive to feedback and trying to kind of understand where their power users are coming from and, like, if it's something that really needs to make it be changed, like, move quickly or, uh, you know, kind of internalize that and go from there.
Is there any suggestions that you brought specifically to the web app that they enacted?
Uh, let's see. Let me pull up my chat with FOMO and see if I said anything. I bet I probably did.
I want timestamps.
Oh,
Day.
yeah, here we go. I actually found a bug I was using Comet at the time as my browser. Why? I don't know.
Just for
I don't
fun.
and some of the buttons wouldn't show up
Uh,
I think because of ad blockers or something. I actually have no idea why. But I was like, "Hey, guys, like, I can't buy these things. Like, I don't know what's happening."
right.
So that was one that was kind of fun. I I gave them one piece of feedback that they haven't listened to, which is that I just wanna disable all warnings and I want, like, degen mode.
I've heard this from quite a few people in the
Yeah.
Discord community as well.
Yeah, I have no desire for warnings. If I'm buying a shitcoin, I don't care. I'll
You
figure it
know,
out myself.
yeah,
Not that's not for everybody, but I mean, like, I've spent enough time,
yeah,
I uh, doing all of this where unless it's like in scams or something.
right,
But I totally understand why they have it. It's totally valid. I'm just a bit of a degenerate.
yeah.
Um, but
And like you said, I mean, you have experience.
yeah.
You know what you're getting into at any given time.
Yeah, and so then it's like, you know, I don't really want any guardrails that feels like it slows down the process because, like, sometimes that can actually make a big difference as far as the price of some, shitcoin.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, so some random stuff like that. A lot of just like small little UI things like, hey, this looks a little bit weird or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, I I really didn't know what to expect with how the layout was and everything, but it I was pretty impressed kind of right away with the like familiarity with the mobile app while also feeling fresh and kind of like a new twist on the same experience. And so I think that's something that the team did really well. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing them keep expanding on that.
Awesome. Yeah. So another question I have for you: I've interviewed you for like a normal in the trenches episode, and in that particular episode, I asked you about the whole idea of trading in public, right? You're a pretty well-known guy on CT, you've got a big following, you have copy traders, and there's this natural tension. On Tuesday, when Say and I talked with Uber, he was talking about kind of one thing that he really wants that I don't know if we'll ever offer is full anonymity on the platform, right? He wants to be able to like be on the platform, but it not be public. Um, there is a natural tension on FOMO between openness and privacy. That social graph, super powerful, but not every trader wants to be visible all the time. Where do you stand on that spectrum? And what do you say to a trader who hasn't gotten onto FOMO specifically because of the public component of it?
Yeah, I get it, and I've kind of gone back and forth on a lot of it over time. I mean, like even before FOMO, before I was even trading meme coins, I went through this kind of same song and dance with like NBA Top Shot and NFTs and different things, and I've had times where I was trading like again, I've I'm a developer by like trade, and so I've for a long time was pretty I am, if I want to be, good at hiding my wallets, and so like people be like, "Yeah, I try to track your wallets. I don't know what your wallets are." Um, and sometimes it's just like doesn't feel worth it. But I think like I've found myself in a bit of a balance, and I think also just like come to terms with I really don't care what other people copy trade my trades at this point. Um, it used to bug me a little bit on kind of in both sides, but now I just don't care.
Mm,
If I buy a $10,000 market cap shitcoin and people buy it and then I sell it, that's their problem.
yeah.
I didn't make anyone do anything. Um, and so I've kind of gotten past that. And if someone wants to give me a hard time about any trade, they're more than welcome to. I will happily ignore them. Um, but I do at the same time, like, I understand the privacy side of it, but what I would say is I think that you can still get a lot from using the app with even a small percentage of your portfolio, and I think you'll probably have more fun trading like this and potentially learn some things and maybe buy a coin that you wouldn't have bought otherwise, and you could still maintain a non-trivial amount of your stack in privacy. And I think it's worth at least trying because I was someone who very much so did not think I would like the social features of FOMO, and I was genuinely surprised to like them as much as I do. And so uh, prior to that, I never really traded. People eventually would find my wallets and track them from time to time, but I never like very publicly was trading on public wallets. And I didn't really know what to expect or think too much about it at all. But I've had a better experience than I thought I would.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. For people who are listening right now who maybe have never tried FOMO, they trade on other platforms, their setup works, they're comfortable. Why should they give FOMO web app a try when it launches?
I would say, well, one thing, the kind of like cross-chain nature of it is really nice. Um, it's really good. And I know other apps are starting to kind of uh, mimic this experience and things like that, as far as the cross-chain side of the trading stuff goes. But
Sure.
in my experience, FOMO is the best and has done the best job, and the execution is really good. Um, and like I think, and kind of in the same way that Uber Mendes was talking about wanting to do this privately, like I think that speaks volumes about how good the infrastructure and trading on the app is itself. Um, and that's something that I always like would never compromise on personally. I like would happily use a worse UI that gives me better execution
Mm,
type of thing. Not saying that FOMO is, but like that's kind of how I think about things. Um, and so I think that alone it's worth checking out, especially if you are planning to trade smaller cap things where time is really important and getting from, you don't want to have to go to a different app to bridge tokens to do things or maintain balances on multiple places. Uh, I do think it really makes a big difference. And I think that's like a very major selling point. And then alongside that, like you were saying, I think that you might find that you find some edge or alpha that you previously hadn't thought about. Um, because it is a new, unique social graph of people that are doing things. I have different followers on FOMO than I do on Twitter. Um, and I think that there is something there. And whether like you personally care about growing that following or not, I think is like not that important. But there is actively a very large and continuing to grow community of people who are getting a lot of signal from this app. And so to like totally discredit that and be like, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be public, I think is a bit short-sighted.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot that you can learn from it, even if you don't personally want to grow your FOMO following or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. So we've come to the point. Let's do this giveaway, or let's start the ball rolling on this giveaway. We mentioned it at the top. We want to give away web access to a few lucky viewers today. And all you have to do is drop your FOMO username in the comments under this video. That's it. We'll randomly pick winners after this event wraps up. We'll hit you up in the DMs to let you know if you won, and we'll get you squared away. So if you haven't done it yet, do it now. Let us know your FOMO username in the comments under this video. And some of you guys will get some access to the web app here later on this afternoon. Andy, let's say you had to onboard somebody completely non-crypto onto FOMO and specifically the web app. What's the first thing you're going to show
The first thing I would show them is my referral code, which is Andy.
them?
That would be the first thing I show them. My referral code.
I mean,
Probably,
real. That's real.
yeah. So use referral code Andy. That's number one.
The hustle never stops.
No, you gotta. I'm so bad at showing my ref links, but that's a problem for another day. Uh, Probably what I think one of the things that kind of feels like magic is, I guess it's depends. If it's someone who has used crypto and been a trader before but hasn't used FOMO, what I would say is send $50 of USDC from Solana, send $50 of USDC from Base, and then go buy $100 of a coin on BNB and
Yeah.
see what happens and
Yeah.
see the execution you get and the amount of tokens you get and all of that. And like your mind will be you'll be like, oh wow, this is like really sick. This is just a really good experience. Um, that would be for someone who has traded in crypto before.
Sure.
It's kind of like a, oh wow, I didn't know that you could live life this way type of thing. If they had never really been a trader or anything and I wanted to like kind of get them on board, I would probably show them Remus's white whale P&L realistically. And but what I would tell them with that is like, look at how much he traded at the coin. He basically didn't. And like you can learn a lot from that
Yeah.
and learn a lot from how the best people on this app are trading and what they do. And I don't always do it. But like the people who are consistently winning and winning in large amounts that make life-changing money, uh, they tend to follow some patterns that I think FOMO kind of pushes you into quite well.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's what I would show them.
Okay. Yeah, great. Say, I know that he was saying this in jest, but he said, you've asked the team to build a web app at least 8,052 times. Now that it's actually here, what's the next thing you're going to ask them to build?
That's a good question. Um, oh, I really want uh, TWAPs. I really want to
Ah,
be able to say, I want to buy $10,000 worth of this coin over the next 2 days, execute it every 10 minutes. That's one feature. So prior to using FOMO to trade, I used a less popular trading app called Chain Pro
okay.
for a long time. Shout out to them. They're still a great team. I think it's a really good app. Um, and they had a just like really advanced TWAP infrastructure. And that is probably like the biggest thing that I miss. um like I want to be able to say, like, I want to buy $10,000 worth of this coin over this period of time, and I want to only buy when it's below a certain price, and if it's not, extend the time. Like I want to, and so I think there's a lot of stuff there that is really useful, and can be used for like you can also then in the inverse set it up for like taking profits and say, I only want to sell when the coin is above a certain price, and when it is, I want it to sell over like a 10-hour period while it's above that price.
Mm,
I think that there's really nice things you can do there, to kind of slow down what you're doing as a trader and just like set yourself up for success. And so that's something that I miss and would like to see added.
it feels counterintuitive, but I want to ask anyway, just to see, would this be public facing?
Uh, Probably not. I wouldn't really care that much. I think probably um you would see all, I mean, you would definitely see all the trades.
Of course.
Um, but I don't think it really matters that much.
Okay, interesting. That's when I said it was counterintuitive, I figured like your immediate answer would be, yeah, no, we wouldn't want that to be public. But I think that would throw a really interesting piece of information into the mix if I could see 100 traders on platform have buy orders or have, resting limit orders at X price. Like it does bring into some of that like potential for trade spoofing and all of that, but like it also, I don't know, it would create other dynamics that I think we probably couldn't predict and would probably be pretty fun to watch. It would be pretty fun to watch them play out.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would imagine most people would prefer that they're private.
Yeah.
Um, but kind of like I was saying, my general feeling for now is like I really
Yeah.
don't care if you guys see what I'm trading or not.
Yeah.
You could get a full view into my degeneracy. But
Is
yeah, I
there
agree.
anything about the web app that you think is going to like really surprise people?
I think that, I mean, I feel like we've kind of covered a lot of that
Yeah.
already. For people who are using the mobile app actively, um, I do think you'll be pleasantly surprised with just how intuitive the jump is. If you're someone who is also on desktop, uh, for people who haven't used either app and are not FOMO users, I'll go back to the same thing. Where I do just think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how much the kind of social side of things is really interesting and has gotten, I think, hit an escape velocity where it's very useful information and is an added element that you don't really get anywhere else.
Nice. Right on. Well, Andy, man, it's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you and get caught up. Any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to tell the audience heading into launch next week?
No, not really. Thank you for having me. I mean, been I probably have been asking for this longer than any user of the FOMO app. So I'm very excited to kind of see it out in the world and to see it continue to be worked on. I know that a lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into making this.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for the team and looking forward to seeing everyone else's reactions to it.
Nice. Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, your opinions and your thoughts are always appreciated. So keep them coming, man. And yeah, thank you again for the time. Maybe we'll get to catch up in New York here in a couple of days and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, that'd be great. It was nice catching up.
Yeah, man. Cheers. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week.